In today's video, I'm going to show you how you could go from a broke level 1 player to having over $2.2 million on your first day playing GTA Online. Now, in order to make sure everything checked out for this video, I actually started up a new account and went through this entire process myself to make sure it's 100% working. And with that being said, let's get into it. So of course, because we first start off with $0, the first thing to do is to steal a random car off the street, take it over to Los Santos Customs and sell it for a few $1,000s. Once you've done that, you're then going to go over to the Diamond Casino, purchase a membership for $500 because you're going to get right away a free 5,000 chips as well as an additional 1,000 when you go over to the trade-in desk, which of course can be cashed in for $6,000. And not only that, you're then also able to go over to the lucky wheel and spin it and have the potential of winning tens of thousands of dollars. Next, we're going to head over to a stash house, which is this icon here on the map, and we are going to break into it. We're going to take out all the enemies in there, take the contents from the safe, because if we do that successfully and then flee the area, we will be given $30,000, which is very helpful. And in similar fashion, once you've done that, you're then going to head over to G's Cash on the map. It's going to be a box located within this radius. And once you find it, you're going to be given a certain amount of money. In my case, it was $19,000, as well as full ammo and snacks. So far we've made a decent amount of money in the first 10 to 15 minutes we've been playing. But at this point, we should have received an email prompting us to start a treasure hunt. We are going to start it up. It's going to show you a picture of a location where there is a note attached to something. I'll leave a link to a video in the description down below showing you guys where to find all the notes in all locations. But for me, I went up, found it, investigated the note, and that there started the treasure hunt. Now, there are 3 new locations that we're going to have to go to and find clues that will eventually lead us to the treasure. The first clue I went to investigate is up on the side of this hill here. There's going to be a cave and you'll have to go into the cave, inspect the dead body, and then leave. The next clue is going to be here on the farmland next to a tree. It's going to be an open box with a gun missing. And finally, the third clue is going to be next to the water here. It's a shovel on the ground. Once you've investigated all 3 of those clues, you're then going to be given a location to the treasure chest. Once you've reached the treasure chest, you can open it up and we will be given the dual action revolver. Now this revolver is special because if we get 50 headshots with it, NPCs or other players in sessions, we will get rewarded $250,000, which is exactly what you're going to do. The fastest way to do this, I find, is I go down to Vespucci Beach on the boardwalk where there's a bunch of people. You could take them out, and if you have auto aim or assisted aim on, it will make this challenge much easier. And once that's done, we're then going to start up some very important missions that will make us a lot of money. But first, we need an armored vehicle. So you're going to go to the Dynasty website, purchase the free garage that's on there, or it could be $25,000 for some people. And we're also going to head over to Warstock Cash and Carry and get the Duke o' Death for free. This is a great armored vehicle and it's really going to help us out going forward. And with that, we're then going to head over to the yellow R that is located in Blaine County for Ron. And once we get there, we're going to start up the first dose missions. This is a set of storyline missions that are going to make us a ton of money. Now, the first mission is fairly simple. We start off by defending this building that we're at, taking out all the enemies around it. Once that's done, we're then going to be given the task to retrieve an RV. Before we go to do that or head over to that location, first call up the Duke of Death on your mechanic. Drive the Duke of Death over there. Because it's fully armored, you won't have to deal with really any enemies, maybe 1 or 2 people in front of you. Drive up right next to the RV, hop out, and then hop into the RV and drive away. First to pick up Dax, and then to head over to the Freak Shop located in Los Santos. And with that, we've completed the first mission of the first dose storyline. Now, we should make about $60,000, $10,000 from the mission, $50,000 from a first time bonus, and it should take about 15 minutes. Now, the reason why we did this one right away is because not only does it unlock the rest of the storyline missions, but it also lets us call up Dax and request work. These are Fooligan missions, so all we gotta do is call him up, request work, and start up this mission that he's going to give to us. Now there's a few different missions that he could give us, but they each pay out $50,000 and take about 5 to 10 minutes. Great money, but unfortunately there is a 48-minute cooldown before we could do the next one. which is why we wanted to get this started as soon as possible. Make sure to set a timer so that you know when you're able to do the next one, as it's going to be very important that we do these as much as we can. Now that that's done, we're then going to go right into the second first dose mission. This one is relatively straightforward. We're going to be sent to a shipyard where we have to pick up a truck cab, attach it to these quote-unquote party supplies, and then try to drive them back to our HQ. But on the way, we will get ambushed and the party supplies will catch on fire. All you gotta do is detach them from your actual truck cab. Everything will explode, and eventually you'll be given a new location, which is a rival MC clubhouse. Once we get there, we'll have to take out the people in front, so I do suggest taking the Duke of Death over there so that you are protected. You're gonna head inside, have to take pictures of some plans, steal some grass, as we will call it, and then leave from there, bringing everything back to the freak shop to end off the second first dose mission. Once again, we're making about that $60,000, as for every single one of these first dose missions, we will be getting a first time bonus. And with that, the next thing to do is the third first dose mission. Now, this one is a little bit more complicated, but if you bring the Duke of Death with you, you will be okay. So the first half of it is you're gonna go to a trailer park out in Blaine County. You're gonna have to take out and destroy a bunch of a rival MC's property, bring grenades. You could use a handgun, which is what I did shooting from the Duke of Death. That worked fairly well. Once a certain amount of property is destroyed, you're then going to be given a location to another HQ located up in the hills. Once you get there, you're going to run into, once again, a bunch of different enemies, but the main thing you're going to have to do is pick up packages of the blue stuff, as we will call it. On screen here, you will be seeing all the different locations of the packages. They're for the most part out in the open, and the strategy that I used was I would go into it with the Duke of Death, take out a few of the enemies that are located around those packages, and then run out of the car, pick them up, hop back in the car, and drive to the next location. This seemed to work fairly well for me. Hopefully it works well for you, and this mission should be done in about 20, maybe 25 minutes. Of course, the mission finishes off with us flying the Dodo back to the drainage tunnel in the city, but the ending is fairly simple, so I'm sure you guys will be good with it. And once that mission is completed, we've now hit about the 2-hour mark, almost halfway through this initial grind. To start off hour 3, we're going to do the fourth first dose mission, which is by far the easiest. You essentially go on an acid trip. Now, it essentially is like a stunt race, so it's not difficult, but it does take about 10, maybe 15 minutes to complete. And once again, we're going to earn about that $60,000. And right after that, we're going to do the fifth first dose mission, which requires us to go first off to a hippie camp, take out a bunch of equipment that is there. After that, go track down 3 different vans, destroy them. I suggest purchasing some sticky bombs in order to do so, as you could toss them out the window. And then finally going over to a base camp up on the mountain, where you're gonna have to take out a few more vehicles, fend off some enemies, and then shoot down a helicopter in the sky. Now, to make things easier, I do suggest using a free car like the LG RH8, which we could also store in our garage, as it does allow us to toss throwables from the window, aka the sticky bombs. And also, before you start out the mission, I suggest getting the special carbine from an ammunition and purchasing some ammo for it, as it's going to come in handy because having an assault rifle will really help out. But now that that's done, it should have been about 48 minutes since our last Fooligan mission, give or take. So now we're gonna start up another one. Complete it for $50,000, once again setting your timer once you've completed it, and then we're going into the finale for the first dose storyline. But first, I highly suggest going over to Simeon's dealership, because in the dealership at a table at the back, you're able to get free snacks, and these snacks are going to help replenish our health, which is very important because we're going to get into quite a bit of combat here in the finale if we haven't already. So the finale has a few different parts, and the first part being going over to the Humane Laboratories. There's going to be a bunch of security guards. I just go right through into the middle section of the compound so that we could hack the code for the door to get in. Once you're in, you're gonna have to take out some more enemies and then go through a bunch of crates to try to find these chemicals that we're looking for. After a certain amount of time, you'll then be directed to go divert a train. Now, it's going to be a bit of a race getting over there. All I do is drive the Duke of Death over to the train tracks, as you can see here on the video, and then drive along the train tracks until you get to the station where you could divert the train. Once that's done, you'll have to pick up a plasma cutter on the way over to finding the crashed train, where you will have to go through each crate one by one to pick out some chemicals. Now, this process is a little bit frustrating because there is going to be a decent amount of enemies coming after you. Very specifically, some buzzards are the real problems. All you got to do for these buzzard helicopters is just take out the pilot. Once again, I hope you have assisted aim or auto aim on. That will make it easier. Take out the pilots, they will go down, and then move on to the next container that you want to open. And of course, to finish off the finale, we will be directed to go get the acid lab, which is on a part of the train, drive it off, and take it back to the freak shop. And once that's done, we've then completed the first dose storyline, and for the finale, instead of being awarded $50,000 for your first time bonus, you'll get $250,000. Which means from doing this entire storyline, you should have made about $550,000, give or take, after completing all of these missions. If you took my advice and had assisted aim on, made sure to get the special carbine, the assault rifle, and then also getting snacks to replenish health, this process should not have taken too long. By the end of the first dose storyline, you should be about 3.5 hours into it. But of course, if you didn't follow that or you are a completely new player, it may have taken longer, maybe 4 hours or a little bit over that. But now that that's complete, it is now time to start up a different treasure hunt. This time it is the Navy Revolver. And this is where we are going and finding clues about a serial killer on the loose to earn a weapon to once again complete a challenge and make some money. So the first clue can be found here on the side of a barn wall here on the map, and it's gonna say, can you find me? The second clue is gonna be located here on the side of the airstrip here in Blaine County. The third clue will be located over at this barn up here at the north of the map. You will find a bloody machete stuck into the side of the wall. The fourth clue will be up here at the very top of the map. There's going to be a bloody handprint on this shack, I guess. And finally, for the fifth clue, there's actually a randomized location. Once again, I'll leave a link to a guide for that in the description down below, but it could be one of a few different locations. Luckily for me, I got it the first time, and it will be, when you find it, a black van that has a bunch of stuff in the back, bags, blood, weapons, and whatnot, and that's going to be the fifth and final clue. Now, of course, for each clue that you find, you will get $5,000. So right off the bat, that's $25,000, but that's not the end of this treasure hunt. The final part of this is to go over to the airstrip or the airfield in Blaine County between the times of 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. if I'm not mistaken, and randomly a serial killer, the slasher, will spawn. All you have to do is take them out, and once you've done that, you will then unlock the Navy Revolver and $50,000. Now, once again, if you take the Navy Revolver and complete the challenge of killing 50 people with it, you will earn an additional $200,000, meaning that this entire treasure hunt made about $275,000 for you guys. Now, that shouldn't have taken too long, maybe 20-30 minutes, and once again, at this point, we are ready to do another Fooligan mission, which you should do right away, make an extra $50,000. And at this point, you should be closing in at the 4-hour mark almost, because before we hit that mark, you're going to start up the last dose missions, which became available after completing the first dose storyline. Now, the first last dose mission is very simple. You're going to be at the freak shop and have to defend a bunch of enemies. It's going to take quite some time. I believe it's 10-15 minutes or so, but at the end of it, you are going to get about that $10,000 as we usually do. And this time, you're going to get a first time bonus of $100,000. Heading into the 4th hour of this grind, you're then going to do the second mission of the last dose storyline. With this one being fairly simple, you're first going to be given 2 locations to go to where you're going to have to interrogate some of these MC gang leaders. And neither of them are going to have info, and eventually you'll find the chief leader. You'll have to head over to them, get some info on a location of one of the opposition's hideouts. It's going to take you down to Elysian Island. You're going to have to go into one of the warehouse sections in there and take pictures of some clues, which I'll show you guys here on the screen. Once you get all those clues, about halfway through, there's going to be 2 guards that enter in. If you want to keep things stealth, you could just sneak up behind them and take them out with a baseball bat or a crowbar. I used a crowbar to keep it simple. But once you've done that, you've gotten all the clues out of that warehouse and then taken the keycard pass, you're then going to just have to drive away, and that there will stop the mission, end it for you, and once again you're making over $100,000. After that, you're then going to start up the 4th last dose mission. This time you're going over to a lab of our opposition that's actually in the northern part of downtown Los Santos. Once again, make sure you get some ammo and some snacks before going in there, because this could be quite a bit of combat. You could complete this stealth, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Go in there guns blazing, take out everybody in your path, and on the top floor you're going to have to find a clue of where Lab Rat is, as well as keys to the basement. Once you get both of those, you'll then head down to the basement and once again be met with a bunch of security which you'll have to take out. Finally, once they're dealt with, you could then trigger the cutscene by going over to Lab Rat, and of course it's this elaborate showing or unveiling that is Dr. Freelander that is running the opposing gang or criminal organization that we are competing with, and of course he does get away, continuing the storyline. To finish the mission, you'll then have to take Lab Rat and your companions back to the freak shop, and you will once again be awarded with over $100,000. Moving on to the next last dose mission, you're going to be tasked with going over to Dr. Freelander's actual estate and trying to confront him. Of course, he won't be there. You're going to once again go on this massive acid trip essentially, or see a bunch of hallucinations. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to take out some enemies, but once again, once that is completed, you will be awarded that money bonus. And now it is time to do the finale for the last dose storyline. The finale is simple. You take the Vellum over to the LSIA airport and follow a cargo plane that you will eventually find out has Dr. Freelander on it. Once you get on, you'll just have to take out enemies, run to the back of it, and that is when the cutscene will be triggered. Once that's done, you're then going to have to land the airplane in Blaine County, fend off some cops once again. This is a relatively drawn out mission, but if you fend off the cops and take back all the product to the freak shop, you'll then be done the last mission of the story, earning you once again $100,000. Now at this point, of course, the cooldown for the Fooligans should have ended, so do another one for $50,000 and then set a timer. And now we're going to do something different. You're going to head over to the LSIA airport and do flight school. This is essentially a series of different challenges, all doing with flying aircrafts in the game. Some of them are difficult, some of them are relatively hard. It will take some time, but don't stress out, because really all you got to do is complete each one with some level of decency. As you can see from me, I did a few where I completed them and got gold. You're going to be ranked between bronze, silver, and gold. Some I got silver, some I got bronze. It really doesn't matter too much. If you complete all of them with about what I got, you're going to get about $150,000. If you complete them and do better on each, you'll of course make more money. I think the most you could make with flight school is about $250,000, and it will probably take about an hour, maybe over an hour of your time. And of course, because it took about an hour, we're going to do one more Fooligan mission for $50,000. And then, because we are so close to the target of 2.2 million, you're then going to end it off with the treasure hunt of the Stone Hatchet event. The Stone Hatchet event is different than the other two, where we're not finding clues. Rather, we're going to have to complete 5 assassinations and then collect a weapon to complete another challenge. Now, these assassinations will be given to us by Maud, who is a character in the game. At this point, she should have sent you a text. If you open up her text and then wait a few minutes, you will receive an email for the first target that she wants you to go for. What's gonna happen is you open up that email, check out the picture of the target, and then there will be a spot located on your map where that target is. All you gotta do is drive around, go around the location, and eventually the target will pop up on your minimap as a red icon. You could either take them back to mod for $10,000 or kill them for $5,000. It is not worth your time to take them back to mod, so take them all out. Of course, after completing 5 of these, you will earn $25,000, but you will also unlock the treasure chest on the map, which when you get to it will give you the stone hatchet. This is a one-shot kill weapon, and it has a rampage ability, which means once you kill someone first, you'll then be essentially invincible for a certain period of time, where if you continue going on this killing rampage, you won't be susceptible to most attacks. Now the challenge for the stone hatchet is to get 25 kills. So once again, if you go down to Vespucci Beach or the pier, you can take out a bunch of people there. It should be quick and easy. And once again, you will earn $250,000 for completing all of that. And with that, you should be over the $2.2 million target, which allows you to buy the Kasaka submarine and start up the Cayo Perico heist, which is by far the best way to make money in the entire game. Now for me, this entire process took just over 7 hours. I believe it was 7 hours and 4 minutes if my stopwatch was correct. Let me know in the comment section down below how long this took you, but I really hope this guide helped, and I hope you're now well on your way to making many more millions in the game. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.